gross estate ay ang lahat ng properties na pagmamay-ari ng decedent at the time of his death. So, kapag may naiwan siyang mga properties, ang kabuuan ng properties niya tulad ng cash, stocks, bonds, real estate, mortgages, and other property ay tinatawag na gross estate. Personal property. Ito yung tinatawag nating movable properties like money, cash on hand, and in bank, trust funds, savings, investments, jewelries, and etc. Ito naman po yung real properties o yung kabaligtaran ng personal properties. Hindi ito pwedeng basta-bastang galawin or ilipat ng lugar. Halimbawa po niyan yung mga buildings, yung mga house and lot, or anything na attached sa soil with permanence.
Deduction is an expense that can be subtracted from a taxpayer's gross income in order to reduce the amount of income that is subject to taxation. So we have three types of deductions: ordinary deductions, special deductions, and deductions according to the law. First, ordinary deductions. Ordinary deductions in expenses have funeral expenses of 5% gross estate or maximum 200,000 pesos, whichever is lower, and judicial expenses that all expenses incurred during the settlement of the estate. Ordinary deductions and losses are these casualty losses arising from the thief, robbery, embezzlement, fire, shipwreck, storms, and other calamities. Lastly, ordinary deduction in interest, which claims against the estate and the insolvent person of unpaid mortgages. We have special deductions. Standard deductions of 5 million except for a married decedent, medical expenses of 500,000 pesos, whichever is lower, and family home of maximum 10 million pesos for actual amount, whichever is lower. Here's the list of deductions allowed to the state of a citizen or resident.
Gross estate exemption. First, transfer for public use. Second, amount received by hers under RA 4915. And last, vanishing deduction.
Estate tax is the tax imposed on the privileged rights to transfer property by death. It is imposed on the decedent estate and not on the heir receiving the property. The rate of estate tax to be paid upon is fixed at 6% of the value of the net estate. So who is a taxpayer in estate taxation? It is the estate as a juridical person. So here is the BIR Form 1801 or the estate tax return. Who has the personal obligation to file and pay the estate tax? In order of priority, number 1, it should be the administrator or executor, and the second is any of the heirs.
An estate can be testamentary if the will of being written through a testator or a lawyer. But if there is no will upon the death of the descendant, then the rule of the conjugal estate will be used on dividing the estate. A net estate is the remaining value for dividing the estate among the beneficiaries. If there is a conjugal estate, wife automatically had half of the estate, and the remaining half will be divided among affinity together with the share of the wife.
So, yung personal property niya is 20 million. Next is real property niya is 890 million. So, yung total niya is 910 million. Next, the total deduction. So, remember, standard deduction of 5 million except for unmarried resident. His mansion worth a market value of 10 million, wherein his legal wife and sons are living. Funeral expenses, 5% gross estate, or max 200,000, whichever is lower. So, total deduction, standard deduction niya is 5 million, family home is 10 million, funeral expense is 200,000, total is 15 million 200,000. Next is estate tax. So, remember, the rate of estate tax to be paid upon the transfer of the net estate of decedent to his heir or beneficiary is fixed at 6% of the value of net estate. So, yung gross estate niya is 910 million, less deductions na 15 million 200,000. So, ang balance niya is 894 million. Estate tax na 6% is 53 million 688,000. Next, yung net estate. So, remember, a net estate is the remaining value for dividing the estate among the beneficiaries. So, gross estate niya is 910 million, less deduction na 15 million 200,000, then balance niya is 894 million 800,000. Estate tax na 6% is 53 112,000. Next is net state apportion to beneficiaries. So remember, wife is one half of the state and one half of the free portion. So in net state is 841,112,000. So wife niya is 420,556,000. Free portion niya is 210,278,000. Total is 630,834,000.
Problem number 2. Same problem except that there is a will and testament. According to the will and testament, 80% of his estate will be divided among his children and the remaining 20% will be given to his favorite mistress. This is done to the will and testament before he died. At estate apportion to beneficiaries. Remember, wife has a half of his estate, 80% of his estate will be divided among his children and the remaining 20% will be given to his mistress. Net estate is 841,112,000. The wife has 420,556,000. The legitimate son has 16%, 67,288,960. The legally adopted daughter has also 16%, 67,288,960. The illegitimate son has 16%, 67,288,960. The favorite mistress has also 20%, 84,111,200. A total of 841,112,000. For our estate tax is 841,112,000.
Donor tax, a tax on a donation or gift, and is imposed on the gratuitous transfer of property between two or more persons who are living at the time of the transfer. It shall apply whether the transfer is in trust or otherwise, whether the gift is direct or indirect, whether the property is real or personal, tangible or intangible. These are the following requirements that must be submitted for the BI form number 1800.
Notes: additional requirements may be requested for the representation during audit of the tax case depending upon existing audit procedure. Deadlines: if the donation in the Bulias conjugal community property, each spouse will file separate return corresponding to the respective share in the conjugal community property. This rule also apply in the case of co-ownership over a property. Also, within 30 days after the date the gift or donation is made, a separate return will be filed of each gift or donation made of the different dates during the year, reflection therein any previous net gift made during the same calendar year.
The donor tax percentage is 6%, that is a total base in excess of 250,000 pesos. So who governs the cash or in-kind value that is used for campaigning purposes? So that is election code. These are the exemption for donor tax. So any gift that is used for national government, the religious, education, and many more, provided however not more than 30% of the said gift is used for administration purposes.